Wow. Welcome back and welcome if it's your first time. So I was listening to Dr. John Deloney and in one of his shows, and I was like, wow, because I was curious to try and understand exactly why my ex-husband was trying to make peace with me so that we refresh our marriage vows. And it is as if he it's as if there's nothing that has happened. That's how he's behaving, as if there's nothing wrong, there's no problem at all. I'm still healing. I'm still trying to take therapy. I'm still trying to understand myself, understand what has happened. And during that process, I came across the one of these videos of Dr. John Deloney. And there is this guy who is trying to heal, and he wants to get back with his ex-wife. But the guy sort of sounded like a narcissist. Anyway, I don't want to judge him because he might be healing, he might be genuine in his healing, but generally according to the comments of people who had been listening to the video, they didn't believe that he had healed, or he could be trusted, or they didn't feel like it was safe for him to go back to his wife, or the wife to go back to him. And one of the reasons which Dr. John Deloney gave to the guy, or advice, is he said to the guy, you cannot achieve love, you have to receive it. Let me repeat this again. You cannot achieve love, you have to receive it. So what that means, it means that you have to understand that you are worthy and deserving. Abusive people do what they do because they generally are trying to achieve love and not receive love. You have to receive love. And receiving means opening your hands, and opening your hands means vulnerability, and vulnerability means that somebody may hurt you real bad. And if you're a person lenient towards abuse before anyone hurts you, and you allow that to happen first, you hurt them first. And until that is flipped over, this is according to how he's phrasing it out. Until that is flipped over, it is going to be a steady loop, the loop of look what I did now, because you're going to, and the core rage underneath is going to keep burning and burning and running. These are his words, because every time you keep making the same mistake and you hurt the person who you want to receive love from, you will feel guilty about having done that thing, and so this will make you even more angry at yourself, and because you want to cover up that anger, you end up hurting the person even further. So the thought of the world, and abusive people normally have the thought of the world owes me something, and this kind of mindset has to stop to really receive love through vulnerability, working on oneself and asking for help just to get back to have what you once had. Is just wanting it's like wanting a trophy which does not count, which will not be of any use for especially when it comes to building relationships, because When you get your trophy, you will still fall back to your old pattern and make the same mistakes. You'll have to learn how to have relationships with people. You have to learn to love yourself first, and you owe this to you. There's an old, for example, there's an old couple where the husband had been both emotionally and physically abusive to the wife. Now they are old and he's still abusive, but not so heavily abusive as how he used to be, because they are old now and they need each other. And the old lady, she is really traumatized. She has a traumatized kind of a belief, because she has become bitter towards life, because she's still of service to him. She's serving him as a wife, and he's not able right now because he's old, like how he used to be. It's like sort of the roles have changed, and she's sort of the one being emotionally and verbally abusive this time towards him, and he has to abide because they have no one else other than each other. Once upon a time, he abused her, now she is abusing him. And this may also happen to people who have been abused for a long time, because some people, in order to survive, pick on the toxic habits of the people who abuse them and give them back their own medicine. But it is just because they did not take the time to heal themselves, and that's why they do the same thing of the toxic behavior. You just end up being the same toxic person if you don't try to heal yourself from whatever kind of abuse you have undergone. And again, it's this. I can give the same example of the Jews who suffered for a long time only to do the same thing, because the traumatized people, instead of healing, they went about lashing out back what had been done to them. They just are that way because they did not heal. And that's why they raised their children that way, with their unhealed selves. The kids being molded from young couldn't differentiate good from bad and looked upon their parents, so they became the toxic community they are. And this is what is happening all around the world, in whatever kind of toxic relationship which people see. And until someone decides to heal, that is only when things will become better. And it has to be both ways. Healing and forgiveness has to be done. And not just that, people also need to forgive themselves as well, because otherwise, again, the anger they carry, the guilt which they carry, has to be released through love and forgiveness for self. Carrying the pain and anger is what continues the toxic behavior. Dr. Deloney's expression about love was brief, but the meaning behind that had really a broader meaning to it and needed work that most people fail to follow up with because of their pride and ego. And people, it's just human nature. We are always looking for shortcut ways to get to what we want. Everyone almost wants immediate pleasure of everything, but luxurious things need a lot of work before you can even enjoy them. So I hope people understand this and do the necessary work so that they could live their lives in peace and harmony. Because now I understand why my ex-husband was trying to make me hurry into making peace with him. He keeps, every time I see him, he's like, are we making peace? Are we making peace? But between those times, at certain intervals we still have our problems which we have not solved, and he's not seeing this. All he's seeing is that he's missing the comfort that he used to have. And of course, with narcissistic kind of a character, he maybe he just wants to go back to the old pattern that he used to have, because that is familiar to him and that is what makes him feel safe. But it's not working for me. It's not. And I'm over it, but he's not seeing this. He's thinking like I'm playing a game, and after a certain period of time we'll come together just because we have kids with each other. But that's not going to work. I don't think so. Because if one party does not want to heal themselves, there is no way a relationship can work. Both parties have to work together in order to make a relationship work. Both parties have to work. Both parties have to heal. He has his own traumatic problems. I have my own traumatic problems. We both have childhood traumas, and these have to be healed before we come together. And it's not like I have any hope of going back, because with his case, because he doesn't want to see the mistakes that he has made, it's making things even more worse than how they should be. But we were just lessons to each other. And he has to understand this. He has to understand, and most of the time, generally, for people who have walked away from abuse, they have to understand that the people they have walked away from, it is because those people were meant to be there in their life to give them a lesson, and they have to learn that lesson. And unless they learn that lesson, they will keep on repeating the same kind of relationships in their other relationships. And they will keep repeating, meeting the same kind of characters. And again, the same kind of abuse until they learn their lesson. And they have to learn that they are worthy and deserving of beautiful love. And that's what I'm trying to learn, to understand and to accept, and to allow myself to know that I deserve true love. And true love is not just any kind of romantic kind of love. True love starts with myself. I have to love myself first in order to be able to love another. And that is how we are able to attract other people who are going to be in the same frequency as how we are going to be. Because right now, I'm under healing process. So that means if I try to enter into any kind of a relationship without being totally healed. I'm not saying I need to be totally healed in order to start a relationship. Sometimes you can start a relationship while you're still healing, but you have to be conscious of what you are doing, and you have to know your boundaries. If you don't know what your boundaries are, it will be hard for you to express yourself out to your partner. And when it is hard for yourself to express yourself to your partner, you won't be able to leave that relationship in a very good way. You won't experience it in a very good way. You will not get the benefit of a good relationship. And it will still end up being like an abusive kind of a way emotionally, because you will hold back and you will not be able to express yourself. And again you will fall back to your old patterns, and again you will fall back to other kinds of abuse. And it is, I hope I don't end up in such kind of ways, and I hope nobody has to fall into any kind of such kind of abusive kind of relationships. And so I hope this helps somebody, and I hope I have explained this in a way that people, in a simple way that people can understand. Because there was a time a single girl came to me, and she's in her mid-20s, but because of the environment she's in, she doesn't want to get married because she's thinking she will end up having the same kind of problems in her marriage. And it's not like that. It depends on one person from another, and it all depends on how you perceive your life, how you love yourself. It's all starting with how you love yourself. You can only receive love after knowing how to love yourself, and in a healthy way, not in a toxic way, because there are people who love themselves in a toxic way, and that creates some kind of entitlement, and again that's a toxic kind of a personality, and that's not what we want to fall into. So I hope this helps somebody, and in a long run, if you're deciding to enter into any kind of a relationship, just know that you don't do anything in order to achieve love. Whatever you do it at first knowing that you deserve to have love, you deserve to receive love. But in order to be able to deserve to receive love, you have to learn to know how to love yourself first. And I am thankful and grateful for Dr. John Deloney for the show which he gave out. He was trying to be very patient with the guy there, because it was like kind of a the guy was manipulating in a way in order to try and please Dr. Deloney, but the Dr. Deloney is, I guess, is too intelligent for that. So I hope you have a great day, and may God shower all of you with good blessings and good relationships and good people around you. So till next time, God bless.